Welcome to the 30 Goals Challenge for Educators. My name is Shelly Terrell, and today's goal is to avoid burnout. Mary Ann Radmacher once said, "Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow." This goal is related to goal number 3, which is leave it behind. But I realized during Leave It Behind, Julie Cunningham and Naomi Epstein both blogged and brought up a very good point. Yes, leave our stress behind before we walk into the classroom so we don't have the negative impact on students, and our attitude is a good attitude towards students. But at the same time, there was another problem that was brought up. And how do we leave the stress behind from work when we go home? I remember watching the movie Freedom Writers, which was incredible. It's based on a true story about a woman who does so much to get her students in a very poor, incredibly violent neighborhood to have journal writing, and to really it impacts their lives in such a positive way. But the other side of that story was the way that this impacted her home life, how she carried a lot of this passion and everything she was doing for her students at home, and it really disrupted this balance. So as educators, we have to constantly think about this because we're so giving and we're so passionate and we want to save the world, and every single day there are problems that happen, and there's always that student that we just have to give to. But sometimes we have to just let go and say, I'll try again tomorrow. There's a time when we just have to clock out, and we have to tell ourselves and really challenge ourselves to leave it behind and say, there's always another day that I can make a positive impact, and realize that we're not going to save every single student. We're not going to save the world. We have to be able to have time for ourselves. We have to be able to set aside some time where we're not educators, where we can just relax and have fun, because then we're going to get burnt out. We give so much, and when you give so much to so many people every day, eventually you don't have enough for yourself. So in order to avoid burnout, let's try as a short-term goal to set aside an hour this week and just do something that is fun for you. Maybe it's playing in your band. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe it's listening to music. Maybe it's watching a movie with a friend. Maybe it's having a girls' night. I remember in Texas, I used to always have a girls' night every Thursday, sushi dinner. And my best friends were not educators, so it was a great time for me to relax, and it was a great time for me to not think of the classroom. I would find that 2 to 3 hours would go by, and I never talked about my students within those hours, and I couldn't feel guilty. I had to let myself relax. I find being in an online educator community that's another way to avoid burnout. It's not only about sharing resources and links, but many of my friends that I have met online, I Skype with every day, or I am, and we talk about silly things, and we make each other laugh, and we send each other little greetings, and we just make each other feel good. We're really out there supporting each other, and they're some of them, even though I haven't met them face to face yet, are some of my dearest friends because they really helped me get through some tough times. So as a long-term goal, let's think of how this can be a regular time with each other. I really believe in setting maybe every Thursday is your day to where you do whatever it is that you do, but maybe it's every Friday or Sunday. There should be a set time that you take time for yourself, that you do some kind of stress release routine, some kind of routine where you're able to really just bring in this balance of leaving it behind. And then when you begin to have this routine and you begin to get comfortable with leaving it behind once a week, then we should increase this time, because we do need to try and find as close to a balance as we can. We have people at home, we have friends, we have families, and we have to be able to have enough energy and enough heart and enough compassion to give to them